Hi, I saw the Twitch video thing on Kerbal dev team Tumblr. Well, didn't see it, but I could read the description because, yeah, Twitch is in Flash, and I uninstalled Flash a little while ago. So the thing is, this challenge is about going to the moon and to Minmus and back to Kerbin in a single mission. But I thought that's just so boring, and actually it's not that hard. So I'm no Scott Manley, but yeah, I thought, well, heck, let's go to Duna also in the same mission, and of course back to Kerbin. And yeah, this was the rocket, the usual business of going into orbit, and selected a nice trajectory to the moon, and it turned out it wasn't so nice because the nuclear engine is not the strongest one around, so I need to do a second pass, and then it turned out that I should have rotated it a little bit more, so it was hard to get an encounter with the moon with minimal delta V, and I knew that I will not have that much left when I finish this whole thing. So I wanted to spare as much as possible. And anyway, I got the encounter with the moon. So here I go. Minimal corrections, and yeah, it's there. Around the 20 kilometers I orbit. I circularized, and I thought, hey, I as well I can visit the Armstrong Memorial too, because it's very easy to reach anyway. Otherwise I wouldn't have any target to reach on this mission, so at least I wanted to do this much. So I circularized and did a minimal inclination change which was necessary for this, and soon I found myself in a declining orbit towards my target. The problem with this is that at this point this single nuclear engine design doesn't have that much thrust, so its thrust to weight ratio is about small. To tell the truth, it's enough to do everything, but it's very hard. So this is why I wasn't really burning the normal way I usually do in this case. So I was burning somewhat in a direction that would keep me up and slowly coasting to the position. And while I'm up there, I can do the deceleration slowly. So this was necessary because this very low thrust to weight ratio. But it worked out, so there was my target, and I could see it next to the crater where it is. And I was trying to do some fine corrections, but finally I ended up at around 220 meters or something from it. And yeah, I could have gone closer, but I thought it's nice to spare as much fuel as I can, because I didn't exactly know how much it will cost me to go out. The point is, yeah, things like this, the unplanned angle change for the translunar injection, and also later on, for example, this strange way of braking from orbit consumed a lot of fuel, but I didn't intend to consume at first. And there will be such things later on. So yeah, it wasn't that easy as I thought it would. On paper it looked very nice, and it seemed that I had a lot of delta V. To tell the truth, I had some fuel left, so it wasn't that problematic at the end, but even then it wasn't that easy as I thought it would be. So from the moon, I couldn't go directly to Minmus because of its position. Yes, of course, I could have selected some different timing, whatever. That actually takes a lot more time. You have to plan it. You have to try it once because it's hard to see in advance what will happen. Uh, so these trajectories don't plot that much. They just plot one encounter, not for others. So it's not enough, not always enough. And this is also the case with later on the escape towards Duna, because it was obviously not in the transfer window position, so I lost a lot of fuel because of that. The obvious solution would have been to wait until it's in position, and yeah, I know when it is now, because in previous video I did that, so it's around day 230 of the first year. But anyway, the best would have been on the escape from Minmus to brake to a low Kerbal orbit in a way that when Minmus is in a position that just a tiny little bit fuel is needed then to escape. Of course, with a burn on low Kerbal orbit, and so if it's an elongated orbit, it would have needed a very little fuel. But I didn't do that. So yeah, probably I would have used like 300 meter per second, because that's for the braking for Kerbal, and then on the Kerbal low point, I just would have burnt like 200, or I don't know, 100 meters per second more for a optimal escape. But I didn't do that because, as I mentioned, it's hard to plan these in advance, because the planning trajectories are just one encounter ahead, and there is also the thing that this the sphere of influence changes can change these trajectories quite abruptly, so they are not that well usable. But as I read the latest devlog, this will be fixed soon, so no worry. So what I did, I just went to Minmus, landed there, very little delta V lost. Yeah, Minmus is like that, low gravity. And directly from Minmus I escaped towards Duna, well, to interplanetary space, and there I waited until I was in position for a burn that took me to Duna. However, this way, because there is no beta effect, it was like, I don't know, 800 meters per second delta V, and that's much more than usually needed. This is the way I usually do it because it's the easiest, but on this mission I was very tight on my fuel budget, so I shouldn't have done it this way. Even though this whole thing took 2 hours, so a little bit more than 2 hours, so I didn't want to waste more time with planning. Yeah, the 2 hours is just recording, and so I had to come up with the spacecraft design and so on, so that took some other hours. Anyway, so now I'm using this technique what I found during the transfer window experiment last time, that I can move the focus to the target body, and there I can see the trajectory, how it changes when I manipulate the maneuver node. This helps a lot in these cases when I want to make a hole in one from half a solar system away. It can be done differently with kind of trial and error methods, but this is much easier, like it was now. So at this point I was very low on fuel on these external tanks, and I didn't want to waste the delta V of the internal tank by carrying around these external tanks, but the landing legs are on the tanks, so I had to carry them down to the planet. So first I thought I will just do a arrow capture here, but I realized that I'm above these planes, so I just burn downwards to get into the lower atmosphere, which I knew that it will break me, uh, break enough that I will be captured and I can land on these planes, because these planes are nice to land. In some other experiments with other craft, I tried to land on the mountains, and it doesn't go very well. So I realized that the planes are the way to go, at least if I don't want to crash. So most of the delta V was coming from the parachute here, the single small parachute, which opened at 5,000 meters up, and some other from the engine, but that was very little compared to that. The Kerbal just simply went through the ladder on my first try. The thing is, what happened here, yeah, I wanted to do a fast forward, but sorry, it's like this, is blinking. Here's the liberation of Ike. So it looked very nice real time, but yeah, it's very stupid. So sorry for that. It's annoying, I know. So I had to wait for a launch window back because I didn't have enough fuel to do it otherwise. That is actually the same launch window what I used in my previous video. So, but I did it more precisely this time. So what was it? Year 3, 240, day 240. Previously I did 230 because it was easier to remember. Year 1, day 230. Year 3, day 230, but 240 works better. So yeah, this is of course with the help of Alex Moon's launch window planner tool. Up from Duna, just the usual going to orbit, but this time there is no rendezvous with any other craft. This can go back to Kerbin if piloted correctly, and this is what I just did. Actually, I was lucky I didn't need to wait for another orbit. I was just in time for a correct burn. And yeah, this single nuclear engine design is is really working very nicely this time. Just barely sips any fuel. It works very nicely on Duna because the atmosphere is so well, so weak, or so little that there is barely any ISP change. It goes down to 720 or something, and that's okay. So I'm just going towards cabin, just minor correction because of the sphere of influence change, but it was easily corrected. And I saw that I have enough fuel left, so I will not just crash on the surface, but I will do correct landing at Kerbal Space Center. I thought it would be harder. Usually my my aim is wrong in a way that I land before I reach my target. This time I was quite okay. I was a little bit off track to the left. Actually, I tried to do as much equatorial orbit as I could, but of course there are no tools to do this, so it's just only manual. I usually do it in 2 steps. It would be nice to have do it in 1 step, but it's hard to see where the point is where you have to burn, so 2 steps it's easier to do. You just compare it to the orbit of the moon or other planets, and this is how it works. Just of course because we are so lucky in this universe that there are no inclined orbits among the moons, so it's easy to do this. I think there is maybe some inclined orbits in Joule, but yeah. Anyway, most of the bodies are in the same plane, orbiting in the same plane, so that's why it's so easy. Those orbit lines can be used as a guideline. So air capture, aero braking, and I end up on my usual 72 kilometers high orbit, from which I can do my knife throwing break that will get me exactly to the Kerbal Space Center with one burn. And it was quite okay in that direction. Usually that is the direction which ends up wrong. But now I was a little bit left. That's strange because usually this doesn't happen this way, but this is what happened. There was fuel left in the center tank, so actually I could have corrected it, but I intentionally discarded this tank outside the atmosphere, so that is more reminiscent of a real spacecraft mission, that these engines and service modules whatsoever cannot come back to the surface because they will just burn and explode. There were three small engines on this capsule, the usual monopropellant thing, because they are free, they don't have any weight or mass. Here I come, just towards the rising sun. And yeah, a little bit to the left, but it worked out quite nicely. And actually, I don't need the other parachute because one is enough. Thanks for watching. Bye.